Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Brandon Bolin with a quick hit from TheUnder Hallway Edition. Okay, two things. The very first thing I want to say is if you tear up something in your neighborhood for any reason, there's a good chance it may not come back, especially if you're in a neighborhood that's, on the margins of people in the struggle and some people making it, but not people making it. If you got like a neighborhood store and you end up tearing that down, there's a good chance that may never come back. Now, that's up to you whether or not you need it in your neighborhood, okay? I'm just saying whether or not you do it, it's up to you. But I'm telling you, I've been through this, I've been through riots, I've been through insurrections, I've been through protests, and I know what could happen. You could just end up with a vacant lot for the next 20 years until either you leave the neighborhood or your folks leave the neighborhood, or they decide to put something else there that's something you may not want or need. We've had some great heartfelt moments through this. We've had some heartfelt moments from the parents, from Michael Brown's parents, who've come out and both asked for calm. I can see a lot of people asking for calm. I can see a lot of people asking for people to be reasonable. But you know what? Here's the thing. Most of what went down the last couple nights, the time it turned into a quote-unquote war zone, came from a fully militarized police force. And then, before anything drops now, Governor Nixon, a Democrat, comes out and gives a, well, we're going to keep them under control speech and sets a state of emergency before anything even happens. What that's telling me is this, that what you guys have done, have started, is beginning to make a change. And it's a big change, and it's one that people are paying attention to. It has not been the responsible brothers and sisters, the ones that stayed in their homes and just quieted down for years while things went on in St. Louis and Ferguson, all over the nation, that really set it off. No one would know where Ferguson was, who y'all are, or what you were dealing with. No one would know around the world now if it hadn't been for the irresponsible brothers. If it hadn't been for the brothers who said, no, we're not leaving. We're not dispersing. We're not leaving the streets. We're going to stay out here with our fists up in the air. We're going to get in your face and let you know what's happening. So I think it's really premature to tell anybody to be responsible. As a matter of fact, I was watching one rally at one time, and it was one of those days where we were like all coming together for Ferguson. And then somebody was streaming it, and I sat there and watched it, and as people rallied in one area, one old cat got up there and he started to lay out the agenda that was going to happen. First she was going to speak, then this other cat was going to speak, and these things were going on. Now while that was happening, right next to him, just behind him was a small skirmish line of police officers standing there, keeping a police line. And there was a brother standing in front of them, and he possibly was drunk, but he was going off. And what he was saying was how much he hated the police and what they've done, but he also said that those brothers standing, the older ones standing away right there next to him, didn't represent him. And you know what? Quite often that's needed. King started when he was 24. Jackson started when he was young. Carmichael started when he was young. Everyone in the Black Panthers, of course, started when they were younger. So it's now time for another generation to step up. And I don't have any problem with that. I'm not saying start violence. I wouldn't tell you to do that. I'm not saying go out and get guns. I'm not telling you to do that. What I'm saying is this. Whatever happens, make sure you continue to throw your fists up in the air. And don't always listen to the authorities that tell you to do the reasonable thing and not be heard. Because all the brothers that were reasonable while the bullshit was going on the whole time, you couldn't find them. The reason why people like Al Sharpton is because he shows up. And because there's other people in the neighborhood who are supposed to show up who ain't never there. So these young brothers have got new heart. They put in life from here all the way around the world, in places like Hong Kong, in places like Palestine. You have affected the world with what you're doing. Continue to do it. This is Brandon Bolin from TheUnder saying, stay strong, stay safe, and stay loud. Take care. Peace.